Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tension in the Middle East has reached a breaking point tonight as Israel declares a state of maximum defense readiness. Intelligence reports confirm that Iran's missile forces have been fully mobilized, and the region now stands on the brink of an unprecedented confrontation. The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, are on high alert, radar systems active, and Iron Dome batteries positioned across the country. The fear of an imminent missile strike has gripped both military command centers and civilian populations. This escalation didn't happen overnight. For months, satellite imagery and intercepted communications have pointed to growing Iranian activity around key missile bases in Khuzestan, Isfahan, and Mush. But in the last 24 hours, Western and Israeli intelligence sources confirm something much more serious. Iran's strategic missile units have shifted into combat positions, fueling vehicles, preparing launch pads, and loading long-range ballistic missiles capable of reaching deep into Israeli territory. The Israeli government responded immediately. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened an emergency meeting with the defense cabinet late last night. Air raid sirens have been tested across multiple cities, and emergency shelters are being reopened for the first time since the last Gaza conflict. The situation, as one senior Israeli officer described it, is the most dangerous since 1973. Iran's state media, meanwhile, is sending a very different message. Broadcasters are hailing what they call the era of strategic balance. In Tehran, the streets are filled with displays of military strength, convoys of missiles, drones, and Revolutionary Guard units showing off their readiness to face what they describe as Zionist aggression. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps claims that this mobilization is purely defensive, a response to Israeli airstrikes in Syria and covert operations targeting Iranian scientists. But Israeli analysts see it differently. According to sources inside the Israeli Defense Intelligence Directorate, Iran's recent movements go far beyond defensive posturing. Reconnaissance flights by U.S. surveillance aircraft have identified ballistic missile silos being uncovered, command bunkers being sealed, and communication networks activated across multiple Iranian bases. The level of coordination, they say, suggests preparation for possible large-scale offensive action. The IDF's northern and southern commands have gone into what is known as Condition Red. Anti-missile systems like David's Sling and the Arrow 3 are now operational 24/7, supported by American Patriot batteries stationed in southern Israel. Fighter jets are circling the skies, conducting continuous patrols along Israel's borders with Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. Every radar screen in Tel Aviv is now watching Iran's western provinces for even the slightest launch signature. Inside Israel, there's growing anxiety. Social media platforms are filled with videos showing citizens stocking up on water, food, and fuel. Lines have formed outside gas stations and supermarkets in cities like Haifa and Beersheba. Schools have been instructed to review emergency evacuation protocols, and mobile alerts are reminding citizens where their nearest bomb shelters are located. It feels eerily similar to the early days of the 1991 Gulf War, when Iraq's Scud missiles rained down on Israeli cities. At the same time, Washington and European capitals are scrambling to prevent a full-scale war. The U.S. State Department has reportedly reached out to both Tehran and Jerusalem, urging restraint. American intelligence officials are now in direct communication with Israeli defense counterparts through secure channels. President Biden's administration has also moved additional U.S. assets into the region, including a carrier strike group in the eastern Mediterranean and advanced missile tracking systems deployed to Jordan and Saudi Arabia. Analysts say Iran's decision to mobilize its missile forces comes at a critical geopolitical moment. Domestically, Iran's leadership faces mounting pressure over economic challenges and protests. Internationally, the country has strengthened military and economic ties with Russia and China, giving it greater confidence in confronting Western powers. Iran's leadership may believe that Israel, deeply engaged in multiple fronts, including Gaza and the northern border, is vulnerable to pressure. For Israel, however, this is not just another security challenge. It's an existential one. The country's defense doctrine has always been built on preemption, striking first when survival is at stake. Israeli air bases in the Negev and Galilee are reportedly on standby. with fighter squadrons fueled and armed, ready to respond at a moment's notice. The IDF's cyber units are also believed to be preparing offensive operations against Iranian communication and missile control systems. A silent digital war that could already be underway. Across the region, everyone is watching closely. In Lebanon, Hezbollah's fighters have reportedly gone on high alert, with rocket units repositioning in the Bekaa Valley. In Yemen, the Houthi movement, backed by Iran, has issued statements of support, warning that they too will strike Israeli targets if war breaks out. Meanwhile, Jordan and Egypt have increased air surveillance over their borders, fearful of being drawn into another regional conflict. The escalation has also triggered a wave of global reactions. The European Union has called for immediate de-escalation, warning that a war between Iran and Israel could destabilize not just the Middle East, but also global oil supplies. Crude prices have already spiked to their highest levels in months, and stock markets across Asia and Europe have shown signs of panic. Russia, interestingly, has expressed understanding for Iran's position, accusing Israel of provocative military behavior. China has urged both sides to show restraint but simultaneously blamed the United States for escalating regional tensions. In Tehran, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, addressed the nation earlier today, declaring that Iran will not hesitate to defend its sovereignty. His message was defiant. If Israel strikes, it will face retaliation, unlike anything seen before. That statement was followed by a televised parade of Iran's most advanced missile systems, including the Sejil and Khorramshahr missiles, both capable of reaching Israel with massive payloads. Israeli officials, however, remain determined. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant stated, "Israel will not allow Iran to surround us with threats." In his speech, Gallant warned that any missile fired from Iranian territory would be treated as an act of war and would trigger a full-scale Israeli response. He also noted that Israel's missile defense systems have been upgraded to handle mass attacks, including multiple simultaneous launches. Experts warn that a direct conflict between Iran and Israel would be unlike any previous war in the Middle East. Both nations possess advanced air defenses, cyber warfare capabilities, and long-range strike potential. Such a confrontation could involve not just conventional missiles, but also drones, electronic warfare, and targeted strikes on infrastructure, power plants, communication hubs, and even satellites. The consequences could extend far beyond the region. At the heart of all this tension lies one crucial question. Will either side take the first step? Will Iran launch missiles toward Israel? Or will Israel carry out a preemptive strike to neutralize Iran's launch sites? Right now, both militaries appear ready, and both leaders are under immense domestic pressure to act tough. The risk of miscalculation has never been higher. For ordinary people across the Middle East, the fear is real. In Tel Aviv, families are sleeping near bomb shelters. In Tehran, citizens are watching the skies and the news, bracing for the unknown. The memories of past wars linger, and the sense that another catastrophic conflict may be only hours or days away is chilling. Military analysts say the coming 72 hours will be critical. Intelligence agencies worldwide are watching satellite data and infrared readings for any sign of missile fueling or movement. If Iran's forces continue their mobilization, Israel may choose to strike first. But that move could ignite a chain reaction that engulfs the region, from Lebanon to Yemen, from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea. As of now, all eyes are on the skies. A single radar alert, a single mistaken reading, could trigger a war that would change the face of the Middle East forever. This is not just another escalation. This could be the spark that sets off a regional firestorm, one that no power, not even the US or Russia, might be able to control. The coming hours will tell whether diplomacy can still hold back the tide of war, or if the world is about to witness a new and terrifying chapter in modern history. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this developing story closely. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.